Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to One Life Truckett's first inaugural YouTube video. Hopefully not its last, but we'll see what plays out. One take, no script. We've got animals, scenery. I'm trying to walk up a hill. Didn't really think how much out of breath it was going to make me. But well, first of all, welcome to the Yorkshire Dales, specifically the Lune Valley. Absolutely beautiful. Over here we've got Sedbergh. Back behind me we've got Kirkby Lonsdale, and then if we get a bit higher, if I do ramble on a little bit too long, you'll be able to see Morecambe Bay out the back there. So stunning part of the world. I'm staying here at Millhouse Cottages for a couple of evenings, and today is my 31st birthday, would you believe? Now obviously the reason I started this YouTube video is because I've had quite a lot of requests for it, because what I've sort of thrown the gauntlet down on is that I'm going to be driving to Australia with Red, the 7-year-old Fox Red Labrador. So this video has been a bit like an intro video. Don't expect any detail, don't expect any even refinement. Wind noise may be an issue, but we'll deal with that as and when things progress. So a bit about myself then. So grew up in the northwest of England, specifically Wigan, went to Bolton School. Played a lot of rugby there. That was my probably key thing when I was growing up. Don't walk too fast, Bobby. Woo! Yeah, rugby was a key thing. Went to Loughborough University, studying construction engineering, and then got a pretty good job working for a company called Lend-Lease. They're a global company building big things. And I went on a couple of times to work on the Olympic Park, for example, which was pretty cool. A few years into that journey, when I was about 25, I'd always had a bit of an itch to start my own business and decided to break away and start R&B construction, which was pretty cool. So quit what was a pretty cushy job at that point, paid quite a lot, had a nice car, pretty comfortable life, and thought, I'm not going to be fulfilled like this, let's just throw it in and let's go for it. So started building extensions, bits and pieces like that. Bear in mind, I never built an extension in my life, but I sort of trusted myself that I'd have the skills and be able to adapt along the way to build it. Made a bit of a success about that. Started R&B architecture, so we do architectural design work as well. And then a few years later we started R&B New Homes, which is like a development arm as well. So at our peak about 18 months ago, just after COVID, losing track of time, we employed there was about 19 of us at the time. And then our busiest day, I think we had across what was about 6 or 7 sites, we had about 42 people working for us, which was busy, a bit too busy actually. Then the story goes that my then fiance of 11 years, one day in probably 18 months ago, turned around, we're on a weekend away in a van in a beautiful part of the Peak District actually, broke down in tears and said, I think we're going apart. Of which I went, Christ, yeah, we probably are. She had a really good job. She was a marathon runner, did a load of Ironmen. I was really busy with the business. We were probably just not spending a lot of time together, and we were growing apart, which we were. I panicked because, you know, I did love her loads and I put a load of effort in. She was already sort of off on a separate trajectory, and we eventually broke up. And then, yeah, I probably lost my purpose a little bit. So, yeah, I didn't really know where to turn. The only reason I was down in Hertfordshire was because of her and our relationship. The only reason I started the business really is to make a better life for ourselves. The only reason I'd speculated so hard and was working so hard was for our future really. So when all that went out the window, I lost my purpose a little bit. And drive, I'm sorry, it's a bit heavy this. Anyway, so then, you know, decided to date a few people and met a few lovely girls, and you know, one in particular was super fantastic, really got on really well. But unfortunately, like the situation that I was in at work with all the pressure affected the relationship, and we didn't quite get there. But in that relationship, we were après skiing in I think we were skiing in Courchevel at the time with some mates, and it was an après bar, and I'd always had a bit of an itch to do something bigger and better, and, you know, really find my purpose and change things up a little bit. And there was an old 110 Land Rover turned up and parked outside the bar, and it had something like family exploration. It had all roof racks on, big sand ladders, big recovery equipment, big lights, bull bar, that kind of stuff. And I went, do you know what? I want a bit of that. This is a bit of me, this. I've always been into vans, always been surfing, skiing. I've always had Land Rovers, they've always been my thing. And at one point I was threatening to do a stag do which was to fly some mates out to Mongolia with some motorbikes, and we'd cross Mongolia on motorbikes, which was always a big dream of mine. Probably inspired by the Grand Tour to a certain degree. Anyway, then the idea came that, yeah, I'll do that. I'd get a big Land Rover and I'd drive to Mongolia. Then one night, apparently I was pretty intoxicated, and I said, do you know what, let's drive to Australia, and threw the gauntlet down. And at the time, me and Dilly at the time, we didn't even know that's possible, and we literally got our phones, zoomed out, and then tried to trace a line around the world to see if it was possible. And give or take, it looked pretty possible. So that's where it was born. A few years back, I'd seen these adventure trucks or expedition trucks because they look like pretty cool rigs, and I'd always dreamed of having one. So then these sort of, this is where it all, like a puzzles all started coming together. You know, you take my off-road background, the love for traveling, the vans, you know, the off-roading, the traveling, the itch to do something else, and you know, it started manifesting itself, which was pretty cool. But we're not there yet, and that's the key bit. What's happened is, over the last few years, we speculated really hard in the construction and development business, and we took on some fantastic projects. And had it been probably this time last year, we would have had these projects sold and we've been absolutely flying. But since the market's died a little bit, it's looking pretty bleak. The construction business is very much on its knees, caused by the development business that's dragging it down. But it's all, you know, it was all tactical debt. It was all stuff that we planned to get out of, and we still can get out of. But I'm not free yet to be able to move and get on with this journey. I need to sell a few things. We need to sell the development, the £1.9 million bar conversion that we've done. That needs to sell, and that will recover the business, and I'll be able to hand it over to my business partner Josh, who's going to continue running it. The other thing is the farm where I'm living, that was originally a development, and just like everything that's gone on the last few years, it's gone against me because we had some travellers move into the site next door, which had completely ruined any potential for development there. So I started selling that probably 6 months ago, and fortunately managed to have a family that really wanted to buy it and live it there. And we're going through that sale at the moment, and that should go through in the next probably something like 10 weeks. So I'm hoping by the time that sale goes through, we'd hopefully agreed on the Temple coach yard, and I'll then have the funds to then facilitate this trip. And those funds will give me a buffer, so I'm not going to need to pick up any remote jobs. I'm not going to need to take on any silly advertising just to pay the bills. The idea is I should be then self-sustaining for a year or two before I decide exactly what I want to do. So that's the plan. Obviously, there's a lot to do with to go to Australia. Obviously, we've got the route, we've got the finances, we've got the visa, we've got the dog, which is causing a lot of controversy and a lot of Karens to make some comments, and a lot of people calling me out on that, which is fine. There's lots of contingencies, and feel free to comment, good or bad. I'll make it work one way or another. So that's where we are at the moment. We're just waiting for things to sell while I sort the truck out, and as soon as I've sorted the truck, I can then start sorting out the logistics of the actual visas and the dog and whatever slightly more. So yeah, I think that's probably a good all-round picture of where we got to. But look how beautiful this is. God, absolutely stunning. So hope that gives you a bit of flavour for where I've got to, or where I am, or how I've got here. It's pretty rock and roll, nothing's certain, so I've got to just keep grafting with the truck, getting that converted, and then I've got to keep my fingers crossed that everything sells and we can get underway. And then I hope that we can pull off something here that's quite extraordinary, and is going to capture the imagination of a lot of people, because we've already got 31,000 followers in what is about 8 weeks, which is pretty outstanding for just a humble northern guy who's got a truck. So yeah. Anyway, I'll do more videos as and when things progress, and yeah, I look forward to you following along the journey. Give me a shout, send me messages if you want to request anything, and look forward to seeing you all soon. Ciao.